Mortgage rates are insanely low right now, like literally the lowest they've ever been. During this coronavirus pandemic, even if you've recently bought a house, you should seriously be looking at refinancing your mortgage right now. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about why this is such an incredible opportunity, why you should consider refinancing, and also why you shouldn't. I'm going to talk about a few scenarios where you may not want to refinance, even at crazy low rates. Hi there, my name is Micciche. I'm the CEO of True North Retirement Advisors, where we specialize in the very unique retirement and exit planning needs of business owners. If you are a business owner nearing retirement, my guess is you have a lot of your net worth tied up in that business of yours, and you're trying to navigate both the exit from your business and your retirement at the same time. So if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner nearing retirement and you're serious about your retirement, then be sure to subscribe to this channel. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Okay, so as I mentioned at the beginning, rates on a 30-year mortgage are about 3 to 3.5% right now. Rates on 15-year mortgages are even lower than that. There's always opportunity in crisis, and as a result, rates have dropped. So it's an excellent time to take advantage of that. Even if you refinanced or you bought a house in the last few years and your rate's pretty good, you should still be looking seriously at doing this right now. I want to put this in historical perspective. It's very important to understand, because I think one of the main temptations that people have is they wait to refinance. They think rates are going to go lower, and rates are very unpredictable. The point here is that rates have literally never been this low. Rates on mortgages spent much of the 80s and 90s in double digits. Like, you couldn't refinance your house, you couldn't get a mortgage for less than 10%. And right now, with rates being so low for so long, that seems like unthinkable. The rates actually on mortgages, rates didn't actually drop below 5% until 2009. So when you can get a rate and lock in that rate for like 30 years and you're only going to pay 3% on your mortgage, it's a really good time to look at refinancing. So rates are really low right now. Hopefully I've established that. Even by historical norms, it's like, yes, now is the time. It's just so compelling right now. Your mortgage is such a big part of your monthly bills and your budget. So when you can lower your monthly bills by refinancing your mortgage at a better rate, and more importantly, that rate is locked in for 15 or 30 years. So rates on a lot of things like credit cards, those are always fluctuating, but you can lock in one of your biggest monthly bills at a lower rate for a really long time, like 30 years. So there are a few circumstances, I guess a few boxes that you want to check if you're considering a mortgage refinance. So first of all, you need to have established employment and income history in order to be looked favorably by lenders. In order to consider refinancing, you really should have a stable job situation right now where your income, your household income hasn't dropped substantially. And then a second one related to that, you need to have good credit. So it's super important from a financial perspective in order to get a good rate, because you may still be able to refinance if your employment situation, your income, your credit is like so-so. Likely not at the low 3.5% rates that you can get right now. Okay, so the other thing to consider right now is that in this current crisis, you look back to 2008, 2009, it was actually a housing crisis that fueled the Great Recession and the drop in the stock market and everything. So housing got hit big time back in the last recession. But what's interesting about this is that housing prices, there's not a lot of activity right now. I know it's dropped off substantially, but when you're looking at refinancing, coronavirus pandemic and this economic situation, this recession that we're in, it hasn't yet translated to a massive drop in housing prices like we saw in 08 and 09. So that's something to consider, because when you're looking at refinancing and you've been in your house for a while, you likely have a substantial amount of equity, which again makes refinancing a better deal because the loan to value ratio of your house is going to be better. That's why I think right now is also a really good time to consider refinancing, because the fallout in the housing, I don't know if it will come. It may not, but it hasn't come yet. So it's a really good time. Not only do you have really low rates, but housing prices are pretty stable right now. The last reason why you should consider refinancing right now, if you have good growing equity in your house, you have good credit, you have good income, especially if you are close to retirement and you can lock in a lower monthly payment. Anything that you can do to trim your expenses prior to or just before retirement is going to give you so much more flexibility and freedom with your finances that it's another compelling reason that you need to consider refinancing right now. Refinancing makes a lot of sense with rates this low and home prices still stable, especially if you're close to retirement, but not everyone should be refinancing right now. So I want to talk about 3 very specific scenarios where you really shouldn't even be considering. So the first reason why you may not want to refinance even at crazy low rates is if the costs don't pencil out. Now, I looked this up recently. According to lendingtree.com, the costs to refinance are 2 to 6% of the loan amount. You would only want to refinance if those costs penciled out. And it's not difficult to do kind of a side-by-side comparison if you just keep the status quo and don't refinance, or you refinance with those added costs associated with it. You need to be able to compare those side by side, but just know that refinancing is 2 to 6% of the total loan amount. Okay, and I already hinted at this, but reason number 2 why you shouldn't consider refinancing even at crazy low rates is if your income has dropped substantially, or your credit has declined, or it's not in good shape right now either. You're probably going to get a much higher rate, and so it may not pencil out that way either for you to refinance. So just know that it's going to be more challenging if you have bad credit, or if you've recently lost your job, or you've been furloughed, or your hours cut, or your income has dropped somehow. So you want to be careful about that when you're considering refinancing. Okay, and then lastly, a third reason why you may not want to refinance even at crazy low rates is if you're planning to move soon. You go through all this. You don't want to go through that whole process if you're going to move again in 6 months, a year, 2 years. Coming back to retirement, and people move all the time for a variety of reasons. But if you are serious about moving in the near term, and I mean probably within the next year to 2 years, those costs of refinancing, they add up, right? So if you're just going to up and move and need to get a new mortgage in the next year to 2 years anyways, it may not make a lot of sense. So you want to take a good hard look at how long do I really think I'm gonna be here. If you're not serious about moving and you're not making concrete plans, then I would say go ahead and move forward with looking seriously at refinancing. But if you're gonna switch houses, downsize, move to a different state, whatever it is, and you are serious about doing that in the near future, then you probably shouldn't bother with refinancing, because the headaches and the cost and everything else are just not worth it. So there you have it. Hopefully after watching this video, you understand in the historical and the grand scheme of things why right now is literally the opportunity of a lifetime. I don't say that lightly, because this is the lowest that rates on mortgages have ever been. So you need to consider refinancing, and hopefully after watching this video, you know the circumstances when you should and when you shouldn't consider refinancing. So if you liked this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want your daily dose of quick tips on retirement is kind of complicated, right? And it's kind of scary too, because there are some irreversible decisions that come along with retirement, and you want to get your retirement right, and so do I. So I have a podcast. It's a daily podcast. You can find it on iTunes, Amazon Alexa, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. It's called the 1 Minute Retirement Tip, and on that I give you quick tips. I will link to the podcast below, so if you want to subscribe to that, I'd love to have you join me every single day with your coffee in the morning, listening to what you need to know about your retirement. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a blessed day. My name is Micciche, and I will see you next time.